Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boy Mo, and this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero on our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And it's a great week for the nerd fandom. Well, we got Daredevil going. Captain America's still out there. Invincible's got the season finale. But it's also a great week for the Supercast because we got our good friend, resident Reed hater, and I think new appreciator of Moon Knight. That's Polly of Co-Mixed back in the house. So good to see you as always.
Hell yeah.
Getting her, always getting her nerd on. Always getting her nerd on representing. So it's good to see you. And, as always, what you've been up to that's nerdy.
Well, I've been up to some very nerdy stuff. First of all, I finished the first run of Moon Knight. I actually even posted a review, and it was great. It was fun. It was exciting. It was very, very reminiscent of early Daredevil runs, but also it was very different. It's a great run. I definitely recommend it to everyone. And Wilson Kevich's art, amazing. Other than that, I started reading the Ultimate Fantastic Four because I decided that hating one read is not enough. Gotta hate more reads. And of course, the best part. I got Doom.
Oh.
I know you can see him, but he's great. And I unpacked him, but I packed him back.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's like you said, Richard's bow before my greatness.
Hell yeah. This is actually very much an anti-read move. So
yeah, you know what? I feel that. You got to get, I don't know if they do Dr. Doom gloves, like the gauntlet or whatever. I don't know if they make those, but you might look into them. At least get a mask or something like that. So already
it's mostly like medieval medieval God, what?
He's got like a cloak or cape or something like that, and then like some breastplates or whatever. Yeah, do that.
Like night look, that kind of thing.
That's how I know I know Doomsday is going to be
green garbage.
Yeah, I know Doomsday is going to be your movie. Like it's all going to be it's all for you because you know what.
Well, I don't know if it's Doom, like it's the Doom. I need the Doom.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just I started disliking him obviously because he's a villain, but he grows on you. You can't.
Yeah, like he has a point. Isn't he like basically making the world 110% better right now in the world under Doom?
There was like in the last Fantastic Four, there was an issue that like vampires were persecuted. But they're vampires.
Yeah. Don't be trying to talk about vampire people too. All right. Well, stop drinking blood and we'll think about it.
They gonna eat you.
I'm glad you pulled out your toys because this gives me an opportunity to pull out my. Hey, look, I'm thinking of doing nerding on a budget deal. I'm working on it. Yeah. But the point is, I'm not rich, but I like to feel like I'm rich by getting all the nerd stuff. And shout out to on Thread Snick Banff Thwip and his ridiculously amazing Marvel Legends collection.
Oh my God! Yes, every time.
Yeah, I can't afford that. So I try to make it work with what I got. I do have some Marvel Legends. You can sort of see them, up there on the.
And he has this sign for every team. It's so gorgeous. I don't know. I just love that collection.
I'm not jealous at all. So, but look,
yeah, I'm not.
I do want to show off some of the things I've gotten the last couple of weeks. I've not spent a ton of money. I have basically the way you do it is you set a price that you're willing to pay for any particular thing. If it meets it, cool.
And then you exceed it.
Yeah, if it's there, get it. If not, don't get it. Right. So for my Funko Pops, you see, I have a huge Funko Pop collection. That doesn't mean
I
I
do
can't get
love that
I can't get
Celestial.
more. I want to show y'all this.
Oh,
This is
oh.
yeah, this is so I have most of the Eternals. I think I have 2 Eternals that I'm missing. And also like the villain that no one cares about. So I got Sprite, and I also, let me put that down. I at Goodwill, which was a thrift shop basically here in the United States. I got this from Birds of Prey, Huntress, right? I got
Oh.
and it was $4. That's really really freaking cheap. I got this. Look at this bad boy. Look at her.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at her.
Wow.
I got this for like
That's amazing.
$8 from Amazon. This how I
Okay.
this is how I make this work. I got this from one of our discount retailers. This Infinity. You
Oh.
see, I have to see if I can get the glare off of it. So this is a
Yeah.
part of a set of like for the Guardians from Infinity War. I'm not done, y'all.
What are the rest of them?
I wish they had more. They only had that one.
No, I mean, what are the rest of them? What is the setup?
It's
What the
all,
whole
they're all
thing looks
supposed to
like?
be in the Guardian ship, so it's every one of the Guardians, but
Oh,
they
awesome.
connect together in like a big thing.
Oh, that's cool. That's
I
cool.
got this today. This was $4, $4, right? I got a Spawn McFarlane Spawn, $4,
Oh, that's
right?
a good one.
All right. I'm not done, y'all. I'm still going. This was $8. Look at my boy from the new 52 Static Shock. Let's go. Look, I'm not done. I got this today.
Okay. Now I'm starting to like not be jealous.
Look, I just found this on accident
You're
today.
making it harder and harder.
This is what happened. So there's a store called Big Lots here in the United States, and it's a big box retailer, but it's basically resales like other surplus, and then you get good deals. Well, look what this is for you. It's for you, Polly. It's for you. Look, High Evolutionary. And I got this. This was $6.50, $6.50. Hold on.
This is an old one too. It's an old one. Right?
This is another one for you too. Look who I got, Psycho Man.
Oh yeah,
from Fantastic Four, $6.50. I ain't done. I got one more
Who's
thing.
the one responsible for matters?
I got one more for you. $15 for this big old Nightwing.
Wow!
I'm not playing with this toy and figure stuff. I don't play. I found some good deals, and
How much did you spend on all of them?
I think I spent 20 on. Let's see, 20 plus. So this is probably, I don't know, $60 worth of stuff. $60 total.
That is cheaper than my Doom.
I didn't even show you. Because I buy physical media. I always buy physical media if I can. And again, at this thrift shop. Look what I got today. Look what I got. Blizzam, Superman, the movie, the OG for $4. Oh, that was $2 actually. $2. And I know it's much maligned, but I really like it. Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I love this movie.
$3. But this is my baby because I've been trying to get the MCU all together. I'm getting close to the Infinity Saga. Blizzam for $4.
Yes.
All right. And on the upside, the digital code was still good, so I got the digital. That's how I freak this. That's how I'm telling y'all. You can nerd. You
definitely should do that video series because
you can nerd on a budget. You got to know where to shop. I don't know. In Serbia, I'm not sure what your shops look like. But
yeah, that's way different market here. So yeah, that would be a strictly American thing, but it would be freaking useful, I think, because a lot of people, I think they're afraid to even start buying stuff because it's addictive and they know it, but they don't know how to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would like the whole paycheck.
You can definitely go crazy, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, occasionally we all do because, well, sometimes you just see something and you need to buy it before anybody else does because somebody else is going to buy it and it's going to disappear.
And
that's how I got all my figures.
I've definitely lost out on, I'm like, I'll come back and get this gone, right? But like some of these, it's just like, it's not even a question. I think my price for must buy, no matter what, for Marvel Legends is $9. If it's $9 and below, I'm gonna get it no matter what, right? So that was an easy call. That Spawn figure was literally $4. That's not
Okay,
even a,
but I
that's
had
not even
no
a
idea
question.
that they even had this big fan cast.
Oh
Because
yeah, and you can sort of
what
see
does the back
you can
look like?
you can sort of
Because
see you can sort of see like there's a RS Shem from
yeah,
he's
but
back, he's right there.
he's generally big, so
Yeah.
it's not like he's. But then they have the Galactus. I have one, I think. No, I have two Funko figures that are like classic Funkos, not Rock Candy. I have some Rock Candy too.
Hmm.
But and one of them is Galactus because he's just so cute in his helmet. It's adorable. But he's regular size. But
Right.
then Galactus can change his size, so it's another
Exactly.
problem.
He's
Arisham can't change his size, so he is bigger than everyone else.
they make
But
funk
also,
yeah, they
I
make
mean,
Funkos bigger than that. I was gone.
yeah,
I think I had
I had
posted
no
this.
idea.
I posted it on Threads, but I didn't buy it because it was $50, and I was like, "That's even for me. That's too much for me." But I mean, it was a decent deal. But it was a Darth Vader, and it was bigger than that one, so it was huge, right? $50, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna splurge. Went back, gone. So so you got to get on these things if you want a nerd on a budget.
Yeah,
You really got to jump on them right when you see them. So
I
uh,
kind of want to find the. I don't know if you've seen him, the Marvel Legends Galactus.
hmm. Oh man,
He's
I
big and
haven't
he's
seen
so
those, but
gorgeous. I need a Galactus statue. I will hunt for one when the movie comes out because they definitely gonna make
they're
them.
gonna. Yeah,
So yeah, I need a huge Galactus.
I would. So
That's a must
my
have.
recommendation and
And like a
also,
tiny reed and his food.
I think if you don't have retailers like the ones I would mention, and your thrift shops are not full of cool stuff, you're I know everyone hates to use Amazon, but truth is you can
Well,
find really
actually,
great stuff on there.
yeah. But there is an issue here though, because when I lived in Russia, we didn't have that problem at first, and with the taxes when you
Hmm.
buy something from the international store. So here the amount that you can buy is really small.
Hmm.
Like the amount of money that you can buy for is really small. So you will have to pay like imagine if I'm buying a $200 figure, it would be $200 plus like maybe 60 for
Ooh,
shipping, and plus the
yeah,
tax
that's
would be
crazy.
like 20% of that. So I'll be paying. And it's even worse when you order in books because books are tiny and it's like $15 book and $20 shipping.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, I don't do that.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, hopefully that will change. Maybe there are retailers in China with
Yeah.
cheaper options. So
I mean,
yeah, there's always a way to find.
they're definitely manufactured, in Asia. So
Yeah, worst case
maybe.
scenario, I think that there is an Iron Studios store in Czechia.
Hmm.
So
But it's
traveling there is probably gonna be cheaper.
I mean, yeah, I didn't realize, but it makes sense. Like the
Yeah.
cost of taxes and all that stuff. So, we're just fortunate in some ways over here when it
True.
comes to that stuff. Um,
Well, but at least we can find solace
yeah, I
in the
mean,
fact that everything else sucks in America.
look, bread and circus is up in this bitch. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, guys, this is the Supercast. I thank you for weathering that
Tolerating.
detour toward and other stuff. We are going to talk about superhero stuff in a pop culture
Yeah.
media. But before we do that, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video. But hey, let's look at the news for this week. It's not a huge news week, but I think we're going to get some good mileage out of this. For instance, John Bernthal talks about his Punisher special. Yes, he is co-writing it. So what does he have to say about this upcoming special? Marvel Studios has pitched a Hawkeye season 2, and it sounds actually pretty interesting, especially if you know the comics. James Gunn's Superman and DC Studios. It seems like WB believes that the fortunes of DC are tied directly to the fortunes of Warner Brothers Discovery and their future as an independent studio. We're going to talk about that and what that all means. Sadie Sink, if you know, you know. She's joined Spider-Man 4. Who could she be? And Hudson Thames clarifies his comments about
Making it worse.
your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Last time we talked about it, we went in, so we're gonna go in again. And then finally, we're just gonna do a quick review because it's necessary of that third episode of Daredevil Born Again. It's absolutely necessary. So, a lot of stuff to cover. Are you ready to go? This is gonna be a lot of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Polly, let's get into it. All right, so our good friend, the Punisher, everyone's favorite, everyone's favorite role model.
Everyone's favorite lovable murderer.
Yeah, he's a role model. He's every hero. You know what? He's such a great role model that police are looking to him as he's the guy we should emulate. Just topical considering
and they don't anyway.
We're gonna talk about that in Daredevil, but
they can't even do that.
I mean, there's a lot to be said about Daredevil being a hero to police, which is very troubling. But John Bernthal, first of all, I love him as an actor. Just want to say that straight up. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything bad in anything. But he's taken on this Punisher role and has really kind of embodied what everyone thinks the Punisher is and ought to be as a character. I've never heard anything bad said about his portrayal in the Marvel, Netflix stuff. Sure. And so he's coming back for Born Again. We're excited for that. Cool. But also, he's co-writing this Marvel special presentation about the Punisher, and he got a chance to sit there and talk about, what they're aiming for. And so I'm just going to quote it, and then I kind of want to hear probably what you have to say about this quote and what it makes you think about what to expect from this. So he says, when speaking to Hollywood Reporter, he says, "I care very deeply about Frank. I'm really grateful that I'm getting the opportunity to tell the story that I think the fans deserve. We're giving it our all, and we're trying to tell a Frank House story that we're going to turn our back on the audience. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be light, and I think it's the version that this character deserves, and I'm just beyond honored and grateful that we get the opportunity. It's going to be dark. Frank has no interest in breaking out of the darkness. It's not going to be easy. I don't know if that's the Netflix tone, then that's what it's going to be. It will not be Punisher light, I promise you that." All right, so your boy John, he's talking that talk about the Punisher. What do you think? Does this give you confidence?
Well, actually, when it comes to Punisher, I don't think I have any confidence in general because the portrayal is good. But again, I tried watching the Punisher show on Netflix, and I don't know what the issue was, but first of all, it wasn't as violent as I expected it to be. That actually I liked, but it wasn't. The story was about nothing. There was not much happening, and it's really difficult to tell. Like, I hope they're not trying to tell an origin story because that is just not that interesting. And I haven't read a lot of Punisher comics, but I think that it's. I read Punisher Max, and it was very repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is a good story, if there is a good conflict, which definitely there is a opportunity to create a good conflict, an interesting conflict, especially within the context of the times right now and in the MCU and in the real world. I think that there is room to create something that would really house this character well, and that would be a great story for him. And I hope they're doing that. I hope they're consulting the comics. I hope they're consulting the creators. I hope they're paying attention to what's going in the MCU. And I hope maybe it would be more interesting if it's something that happens after his appearance on Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Not a prequel. I'm definitely not interested in a prequel or an origin story. It has to be now. Maybe it can be like during the blip, or I don't know. But it would be really interesting. Could be really interesting.
Yeah.
What it's gonna be, I don't know. But I have enough trust in the creators at Disney to deliver something good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they deserve that.
I'm just glad that, well, first of all, he's taken ownership of the character. That's the main, that to me, that's a huge deal because, again, he's a great performer. He's co-writing kind of with the director of this, and they have a lot of they have a lot of confidence in him. But I feel like they're giving him, and they're giving him and the director like a lot more freedom, which is easy enough to do because this is a street level. This is the street level list of street level stories.
Yeah.
Like he's not gonna
probably not gonna affect anything.
He's not gonna be flipping around doing. And
unless he like kills Galactus.
I mean, he could shoot at Galactus.
That's unlikely. Judge, jury, executioner.
I'm really. It would be cool if they did a pre blip story. That'd be cool. It would also be cool if they pulled in more of like the Wilson Fisk stuff. That'd be fine too. I'm with you. I don't know that I want to see the origin because it's like Batman. Like, how many ways can you show somebody's family getting shot up? I mean, it's the same thing. It's enough to know. It's enough to know. Like,
but it really is. The funny thing is, it doesn't matter how this happened, or that. What matters is that it happened, and it's what affected him. It doesn't matter how.
Yeah, I think it would be more interesting. Like, there are some good comic runs from the 90s, 80s, 90s, where Frank's just like what's his name? What's the guy's name? Micro was his man in the behind the desk. So I remember reading in the 90s where he was, working out of a warehouse, and they had a van, and the guy was literally in there on the computer, and he had a tech nerd dude basically being his guy, giving him info, and he's going up, running up on like mobsters and shit like that. That's an evergreen story. You could tell no matter how many times he tells that story, it's cool. It's cool to see because it's never Frank is a typhoon. He's a tornado. He's a natural disaster. And the interesting part is, who are the people that are getting run over by this guy? What, like when the first episode I saw him in Daredevil, one whole scene is just showing the Irish mobsters sort of being, stereotypically Irish mobsters. There's a lot of like, color to them just to get fucking killed, right? And so that's the interesting part, of seeing who are all these people who they're running up against the buzzsaw, and they're going to do like, it's kind of like with John Wick. John Wick is cool, but like there's only so much to his character, right? No matter how much they try to give him more color, there's only so much to him. He's the devil to them, right? He's a demon. And it's really cool to see everyone else who's trying to fucking stop him or come up against him, and they're more colorful and interesting than he is himself, right? So I think if they approach it from that way, I think the fact that he doesn't seem like he's going to change, he's doubling down on his darkness and being basically the Grim Reaper for organized crime, puts him in a very static place. And so therefore it's more interesting to see who he's going to fuck up, right? Who are they? And when are they going to, here's a real question. When are these motherfuckers going to come together and say, you know what? We're kind of tired of this guy. Why don't we just, it's this one dude. It's one guy.
I'm surprised that he keeps surviving for that long. Like, come on, he's just a human with no superpowers.
Yeah.
It's easy to just, find a sniper. Kill him.
Yeah.
You have Bullseye. You have Bullseye who has like perfect aim. Come on, how hard is it for him to kill him? Why is he running around for like trying to get Daredevil who can, sniff him from miles away when he could just fuck up Punisher?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, he's got plot armor. But and
somehow Punisher doesn't really come after all the big mafia bosses, like the serious one, like Kingpin. I mean, he tries, but he never gets close
I
enough.
get it
Maybe
though.
that's how he survives.
I think I understand. I think I understand his idea, which is if you erode the foundation, then the building will fall. If a mob is no use if it doesn't have any people in it, right? Because and he's right, because if he kills half of the people in any particular gang, they're weak. The other mobsters will come and fuck them up to take their territory, right? So
Yeah.
he's not wrong. It's just you're right. You just because Kingpin versus Frank Castle is actually a really damn good confrontation. When this happened, it's really fucking good. So, but we'll see. This is a lot of speculation now. I'm interested. I'm glad he's
Yeah.
working on it. I can't wait to see what they got going on, and we'll let you guys know all about whatever information we get when we get it. So, speaking of Marvel Studios television, they are. I think that this gives me so much confidence considering what Daredevil's doing right now. That Marvel TV is kicking ass. Look, they pretty much have not missed as far as I'm concerned, except for Secret Invasion, which was trash. But everything else,
Okay, it was. I'm gonna just say something that is controversial. I think it wasn't trash. It just wasn't. It didn't have place in the MCU.
it
It
had
was
its
just very
moments.
random. It didn't. It didn't fit anywhere.
I think it had
It's
its
trash
moments.
compared to other projects, and it's trash compared to the bigger story. But
It
on
it
its own, it's a
it
story.
made Iron Fist look
It's decent.
like really good. It made Iron Fist look good
Oh
in
my god, I
comparison.
still don't understand why people hate Iron
I love
Fist.
Iron Fist, but
Well, except for in Marvel Rivals.
but yeah,
That fucker I hate.
I think so. Yeah, Secret Invasion. I was no secret. I don't like it. I think there's good reasons if you want to know why. Go watch my.
Madam Web.
Well,
Craig and the Hunter.
if you want to know why I don't like Secret Invasion, I do have a review where I tell all the reasons why I don't like it. But Marvel Studios, otherwise, they generally are doing great, and this makes me really excited. Actually, I love Hawkeye. You love Hawkeye. It's a great show. Uh, we just saw like supposedly the pitch for season 2, and I'm just like, please give this to me right now. What are y'all? Why are y'all waiting on this? It says no.
Because
Here it
they're
is.
waiting to see your reaction.
I mean, Kevin, get on it. This is the thing. It says it's been pitched as a Die Hard style adventure that takes place at Christmas with Clint and Kate trapped in one location fighting off waves of assassins. And the main villain is Clint's brother, Barney Barton. Now, I will confess, I'm not really up on Barney. I know about him. I never read any of the stuff about him, but I understand that, they both were raised by the circus of crime or some shit like that. They both have very similar skills, you
Feel
know?
sad.
And that Barney's just like, nah, I'm a criminal. And Clint was like, I was a criminal, but now I'm a good guy. And that's it. But he's the main villain. I find this extremely interesting, especially if the circus of crime is a real thing in the MCU that we get to see. I would lean into that shit. That's all. That circus of crime is so fucking silly. It's a silly ass concept, right? Yeah, you've seen the Silver Age stuff. That it's silly as hell, and I love it. I want to see it. So anyway,
Yeah.
what do you think, Polly?
Okay, so first of all, if they do a Hawkeye season 2, I think that they probably will focus on Kate. I don't think that they need to bring Clint back. I said it already. But if they do, that's pretty interesting. But that's like one episode, or it's a special presentation. It's just I don't see the show there yet. But if there is a show, I'm definitely gonna watch whatever they make about these characters because, well, the first season was great. Oh yeah, bring it in.
Yeah. Do you think the circus of crime can be do you think the circus of crime can be a thing in the MCU that they actually?
I think it should be because yeah, it's not just because it's silly. It's because it's so. I don't know, seemingly random, but can be freaking dangerous. And the silly things that are actually dangerous, that is a great concept to play with.
I just
If
I
there's
just
the
want to
right.
see the bearded lady, like, and the trapeze guys, and the ringmaster. That's who I really want to see with his stupid hat, top hat with the little thing on it. Yeah, yeah, man. Look, if you're an old school comics fan, or if you just like to read the old Silver Age stuff, every time they show up, I'm just like, this makes no sense, and I don't care because this is ridiculous and hilarious.
It's just hilarious.
I
And well, please bring Stiltman. When are we gonna see him?
I think the first time I saw the Circus of Crime actually was a Marvel. So I read this is God, this was 30 years ago. I bought a Marvel Age Daredevil. So Marvel Age was they were reprinting old comics in the 80s,
Mhm,
and this was a
mhm.
Daredevil one, and he is Daredevil versus the Circus of Crime, and this was Daredevil in the yellow suit, so it was old. This is old Daredevil.
Yeah,
That
no, it
whole
was silly.
that issue was dope. Like it's so silly and so fun. And I don't understand people are just like, oh, why is Marvel always joking all the time? They need to be more serious. I'm like,
Yeah,
y'all
that's
read
the whole. Yeah,
yeah, read the fucking comics,
yeah.
yo. Read the fucking comics, y'all. That like they were silly as hell. Like if you read any Silver Age, anything, even Hulk, which is probably the most, dour fucking character in the Silver Age, even his shit is silly as hell. There's so much like just
And
silly
they
shit
have like
happening.
such ridiculous usage of powers.
Yeah.
That's the villains are hilarious. Like remember then that Zemo was originally he had like some accident with the glue, and that mask get glued to his face. That's what he was wearing it. I think that's like ridiculous, but also I want to see that happen to him. Why the hell not make it like a random thing that happens?
And
Because these
he's
things
like
do happen.
he's like
Yeah.
it's like I said spirit gum, not fucking super glue. He steals Reed Richards super glue and it never comes off. There you go.
And then he kills Reed Richards. That's a good story. I like
He
that.
can't though because Reed he's unkillable. He's damn near unkillable. So, like
Well, I know that he's
I
unkillable.
said nearly unkillable. You need you need a
I think
special.
that some people should try harder.
Well,
And also, like, if his wife left him, he would pretty much die on his own.
well, you know what? When you feel that way, you know what to do. Go back and watch Multiverse of Madness. You'll get all of it you want.
Oh, yes, yes. This is such a joy. Every time, every time. God bless Wanda. That was so good. That was so satisfying. It was
Oh my gosh.
one of the best moments.
All
My
right.
favorite though is where she snaps Charlie's neck because it's just so well done.
Oh, so you get two of the people you're just
It's
like,
so
man, I
creepy.
wish two people you're like, I wish these
But
people
like
would kill
killing
them.
Reed, and she's nasty about it too. Like, do they have children? Do they have a mother?
Damn.
They grab
It's
my
like
bitch. Good for her. Good
I
for
pre-
her.
I got to go back and watch that again. So, um,
Oh hell yeah!
so you guys, well, hopefully this is real. If it's not, whatever. It's cool to speculate. We'll see. I'm hoping they make Hawkeye season 2. Make it happen like next year. Let's get it. So we'll talk about it if we get some more information. Let's talk a little bit about the business of Hollywood, which is something what's oddly I've been talking about a little more lately than I expect on threads and whatnot. But Hollywood. Look, the movie business is a little soft right now. Who's making $1 billion films? Basically, Marvel every now and then, and Pixar every now and then, right? $1 billion films are not.
Well, avatars.
Yeah, well, Avatar. Yeah, James Cameron. He pops up and he makes his money. Um, but this is a weird time for superhero films. Uh, you know, Captain America: Brave New World. Let's be serious. It's barely getting barely getting to break even, which is not anything that any studio wants. No studio throws money at a project just to get its money back. That's a waste of time. right? Waste of effort. And it's bad for the brand, I also might add. If you have a franchise and it's just barely making it, they're not good. Perception means something in the movie business and with audiences. Some of this softness of the box office is self-inflicted wounds, right? Streaming, tripling down on streaming is part of the problem. High ticket prices, sure. Um, mine IP farming and all that shit, coming in with half-baked ideas and then throwing money and stuff, the high cost of making movies. There's all sorts of stuff going on. So I'm not, I don't sit there and say that Brave New World is barely making it because it's just woke trash. That's not it. And if you think that, you are essentially, not doing any real
a voice actor for Marvel.
Yeah, well, you're not doing critical thought. That's because you're not it's way more complicated than that. And why anyone decides to or not to go to a movie can be complicated, right? And also, hey, we're on the verge of a recession again, so people aren't feeling totally.
Also, just some basic things like not enough time because you need to like get your stuff in order. You need to save some time for that. You need to go to the theater, to a good one. You need to buy tickets. You need to this is a lot of stuff to do. And in the with the pace we're living in right now, it's practically impossible. It's not like press and play on a streaming service.
It can feel like that for a movie that's
the only thing that is keeping comic book movies going like that is the FOMO, because everybody wants to avoid spoilers.
That's true.
So that's why they're doing better than others, I think.
Yeah, and that's people, they want to talk about these things. It's just the magic is sort of dimmed a bit. It's not as the luster on this is on comic book movies is not as good as before, and for various reasons. And story is part of it too. So that's a big preamble to say that James Gunn's Superman had better kick ass. It had better do some shit, because DC is already kind of like, they're playing far from behind anyway, because of the the DCEU collapsing in on itself, mismanagement, a failure to like really get a foothold, chasing after Marvel. There's all these reasons, right? But it's to the point where actually David Zaslav and the executives over at Warner Brothers Discovery, it's not just that it needs to be gangbusters, because they are seriously saying DC Studios has got to be they got to be Warner Brothers Discovery's Marvel. They've got to be a money maker. They've got to be successful, because if not, perhaps the fate of the studio itself is tied to whether or not DC does well, which is fucking crazy because they have Harry Potter.
Well, Disney will buy them.
Well, I don't. That's the thing is, Disney can't afford Warner Brothers Discovery. They just can't. Discovery could barely afford to buy Warner Brothers, and they did, but they leveraged a lot of themselves to get it. And the idea was we were like, well, are they just gonna turn around and flip it, and try to make a little bit?
I think if it's in trouble, then they might be able to buy. Well, God forbid some kind of like Elon Musk buys it.
Well, again, Elon Musk, he's got his own problems. He can't afford the Warner Brothers. I mean,
if things go good, if things go well for us, he wouldn't be able to afford anything.
I mean, I'm sure he thinks he can, but no, he's already way in debt for other things. But all of this, is to say that DC's got to win, and it's got to win consistently for the next 5 years, for Warner Brothers to feel like, because that's like they feel it's a cash cow for them, and if cash cow isn't bringing money in, what's the point of it? I don't know. Do you think they're on point here? Are they right that Warner Brothers Discovery needs this, not wants it, not hopes it, but needs them to be hugely successful?
I think that everybody needs them to be hugely successful, but the understanding of hugely might be a little vague, because what is being successful? We barely understand what does it mean for a movie to be successful in the post-pandemic world, and we don't understand what it means for a comic book movie to be successful, because it's still everything is changing, and maybe the lower output of the movies is a good thing. Like last year we had only one. We had other projects, but we had only one movie, and I feel like that was a good idea. And probably if they released only one movie this year, or like at least two, they were releasing three, I think, right?
For DC, I think it's just Superman.
No, Marvel.
Oh, Marvel's 3 this year, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't for an average person. It doesn't really matter whether it's Marvel or DC. It's a comic book movie. If they're interested in the character, they're gonna watch it. And the problem is that if they need to be very, very, very successful, did Marvel release the Fantastic Four in the same month on purpose? Or that's kind of a dick move, because I think that it matters for both studios, and they shouldn't be competing on that. In this particular case, because when people want to see more of superheroes, that's a win for both studios.
Yeah, I agree. I think Feige and James Gunn agree also. Rising tide lifting all boats and all that fun stuff. I'm just not sure if it's going to be a rising tide for everybody. That's who knows.
What is your prediction? Like, what's gonna flop?
No, I don't think either of them are going to flop. I think Fantastic Four and Superman will do well. Now, what's well has to me, the start of doing well is getting your money back and start being profitable. So, what is the budget for them? What's their threshold? I would imagine, I don't know this, but I'm just guessing. Both of them have a $200 million budget. I'm just guessing. I don't know if that's true, but let's just say that's true. So they need to make about 550 million, somewhere around there, to break even. Because don't doubt they're going to each spend at least 100 mil to market, at least, right? That's you're gonna see that shit plastered everywhere. You're gonna see trailer everywhere. You're gonna see advertisements. It's gonna be on TV. It's gonna be on everywhere you turn. These movies are gonna be, there. So that's at least $100 million. So 300 off the bat just to get your money back for spending, right? And of course you have to pay the theater, so they're gonna take their cut too. So figure 550 million. I think they can both easily do that. I seriously, Superman should be.
How about a billion?
Billion? I don't know about that. I'd say no. I'd say it's unlikely for Superman, unless it is amazing.
For Superman?
Well, for Superman, I think it's unlikely. I think more likely.
I think that it's more likely for Superman than Fantastic Four. Much as the fans are excited about Fantastic Four, they're not the household name like Superman is. I think that it's easier to sell him. Well,
I was just gonna say they both are benefit from the fact that people already know who they are. So that helps.
Well, yeah, but most people are familiar with Fantastic Four, not from the cartoons. They're familiar with the first movie, which actually the first two movies, they weren't. I don't think that they were seen as shitty by the wide audience.
Probably not.
They're very rewatchable. They're okay, and the release of the Fantastic movie, that proved that those first two movies were very, very much okay. And then they tried I saw what they did after I started reading the Ultimate Fantastic Four. I realized that they were trying to take the story, only worse.
Yeah, it was literally just let's
make it just even more boring. How do we make it more boring? Like should have just I don't know brought Namor. That was fun.
I think I'll be conservative in my estimation, and I'd say they're gonna do Thor 11. Oh well, Superman I think could do 800, and if it's excellent, forget what I'm saying right now. If it's good, like if it's just like oh this is really good, I think 800.
If it's excellent, it's gonna flop.
You think so?
I guarantee you. Yeah.
If it's excellent, I say
it's gonna be so misunderstood.
Well, if it's excellent in the sense, I don't mean excellent for us comic fans. I mean excellent in the wider audience is like, whoa, that Superman is the shit.
Honestly, I think it has the potential to be, and I think it will be.
It could be $1 billion movie if it's excellent. Fantastic Four, I think 800 at the top. Now, again, if it's excellent, ignore what I'm just saying. But
I think it's excellent, but it's not as easy. It's not going to be as easy to understand as Superman. I think that Superman is going to be more accessible.
I think its mandate is going to be set up the Doomsday, and if its mandate is set up Doomsday, people will feel like they have to see it for the next Avengers, and then it'll get a boost from that. So we'll see.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
I do agree though that Warner was it not just Superman but DC, they've got to hit the ground running. They can't have a miss. The first few projects cannot have a miss. It is vital to Warner Bros. Discovery, and I agree with that. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on this. Let you guys know more about this situation when we get some information. So let's see if we can do this quickly. Probably not, because there's some speculation in here. Sadie Sink officially, according to Deadline, and they're not lying. They're telling the truth. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but she reportedly has joined Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, obviously, and Zendaya returning. So first of all, we know who she is. She's Max from Stranger Things. She's been in other things, by the way. Y'all watch other. She's been in other things.
I have not seen those others.
She was in a Netflix. I forget the name of the movie. She's in a Netflix movie that was like a kind of a horror thriller thing, and she was pretty good in it. So I haven't watched a ton of the stuff she's in, but she's pretty good. But she's joined Spider-Man 4. So and they're supposed to be, by the way, filming near the end of the year, and I think they're supposed to come out next year. So I'm like, y'all need to get on it. That said,
follow all of those.
Yeah, y'all get it together. But we got to ask the question: who is she playing? Because they didn't say who she is. Now, Sadie Sink is.
I've seen so far. I've seen like the Jean Grey and Firestar.
So, well, we know Sadie Sink is she's
Spider-Man. She's amazing friend.
She's a redhead. So the obvious first one is Mary Jane Watson. Boo! But then, boo! No, we don't want that. We already have an MJ in the MCU.
People dye their hair, so she could be like, I don't know, Black Cat for all we know.
She said someone else said Gwen Stacy. And I was like, okay.
Why would you cast a redhead for
That's what they did with Emma Stone. They did it with Emma Stone.
Oh, she's a redhead.
I think at least she's a reddish brunette. But she generally, when she's not blonde, she is, yes. So all right, but they said Mary Jane, to which I say no. We have an MJ. We don't need another MJ.
No. I don't think that it, but I did like the idea of her playing Jean Grey because, at first I was, well, that's a weird choice, but then I looked at her and that's kind of like.
They already have been speculating. They've been speculating Sophie Turner for Jean Grey.
She's already been Jean Grey.
Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Who was she?
She played Jean Grey.
Did she? Oh, maybe
She played Jean Grey in Fox.
Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. I must be.
You're probably thinking of somebody else because Sophie Turner was Jean Grey.
Okay, so I'm the stupid one here. I get it.
And she
So
was pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I didn't like that casting for at first, but I grew to like.
I mean, she could be Jean Grey, but why in a Spider-Man movie?
Why not?
Is there some comic book history between Peter Parker and Jean Grey I don't know about?
Face it, Tiger. Oh wait, wrong room.
Like, yeah, I mean, okay. So Jean Grey, I think, is an outlier and probably not likely.
Yeah, it's a very random idea. I just did like that idea of a casting, but okay, if it's not happening, it's not happening. Plus, I kind of think that I want the older X-Men to be like grown adults in the first movie, and with all the drama. And I want the New Mutants. God, give me New Mutants.
Well, how do you? So you said Firestar. That was actually the first thing I thought, because I was like, well, if they do Spider-Man and his
Wait, but if they do
friends,
Firestar, then they have to have
Bobby
Iceman.
Drake. Let's go! Ain't nothing stopping us from having Bobby Drake.
Why would an X-Men? Why would a founding member of the X-Men?
This will be brilliant, though. This would be brilliant, because Spider-Man, as far as I understand, Spider-Man 4 is post Doomsday, right? Doomsday, I think, is going to be.
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming out after Doomsday.
But Doomsday is not coming out till like
next summer.
Is it next
so
summer? Okay, so Spider-Man comes out at the end of the year. Then
yeah, it might be pushed too. But I think the Doomsday is going to be opening up the whole incursion thing. You know, we already got a hint of the whole
reopening.
Well, we got the idea of the hint of the incursions already. If y'all remember, the stinger for Multiverse of Madness was about Clea, saying we need to deal with these incursions. So it's already there. And if Bobby Drake, you know, if he's just a guy in the MCU that has ice powers, it's pretty clear they can bring mutants in, and then they can justify the existence of his powers. I would love, and also they don't even need. Isn't Firestar a mutant too? Firestar's a mutant also.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah.
So we already have Miss Marvel. We already have mutants. They just ain't out yet. I think that this is. I'd love Firestar. That'd be cool. Somebody said Dazzler, and I was like, yeah, but why? y'all thought y'all just looking at
why are we always looking at mutants?
Well, it's every
Dazzler
redhead.
Is not a redhead.
Well, okay, so I'm just saying every redhead, you know, had character, but why Dazzler? That's exactly why I was like, why?
Well, at least they relaxed and stopped trying to make Taylor Swift Dazzler.
Oh well. That's another.
I mean, nothing against her, but just no.
I got one. You mentioned Black Cat. Okay. Why? Sure. Why not? Okay. Why not? I don't know if I'd pick her for it, but sure, she could do it.
Yeah.
Put on a silver wig, move on, or a white wig, whatever, move on. She could. You know, I would not buy her a Silver Sable because she's too young. A Silver Sable is
maybe she could be a villain too. Just
who? Just Typhoid Mary? I don't know. Look.
Yeah, why was my first thought also Typhoid Mary? But no, she has to be like she's married to Wilson Fisk. That's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this
and also she's like Daredevil's ex, so no.
This is the one.
Unless we want to make Matt worse.
I think this is the one. Jackpot being created by Dan Slott years ago, like 10, 12 years ago, something like that, during the Brand New Day era of Amazing Spider-Man. Redhead, everyone thought the character was MJ, not Mary Jane Watson. But I wouldn't mind if they merged the characters together and made Mary Jane Watson Jackpot, right? For real. And then that's why they brought MJ in. Okay, fine. You got to have this redhead that's maybe trying to compete with our MJ. Fine. But give her some superpowers and have her do some stuff. Jackpot's a decent character, I think. So beyond that, who knows? I can't think of any.
An
I can't
evil
think of anyone.
journalist, a successor to J. Jonah Jameson.
She could be Betty Brant.
She'd be just sitting and hating on Spider-Man.
Yeah, she could be Betty Brant. She would take over after
That too, yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, another redhead that was playing a character that went nowhere.
Playing a blonde.
Playing a blonde.
No. Wait, no. Didn't she play Gwen Stacy?
Was she Gwen? You're right. Who played Betty Brant?
She played Gwen.
I'm lying.
Oh, what's her name?
I'm not even gonna look it up.
Comedian woman. She's the blonde one. She was wearing a black wig.
I'm not even gonna look it up. So let's just.
That was in the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was so long ago. That was God. That was 25 years ago. That's ridiculous.
We don't know. But I think this is a cool casting. I'm excited. I want to see what they got for her.
Oh yeah.
Don't make her a throwaway character. Just don't do that. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys up to date when we find out any information. This is an update to something we talked about weeks ago. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I mean, not friendly. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has come and gone. It was amazing. Great show. A lot of people that were like, I am not watching this show because that Hudson Thames said some shit about wokeness, and I'm not.
They missed out.
But all of us who were like, all right, that dude is on some stuff, but we're gonna watch this anyway because he's not the only person on the show. We watched it. It was amazing, and we were like, yo, just watch the show. And everyone who watched it has been like, yeah, this is great. But what's up with that guy's comments?
Yeah.
Well, it is. What day is today? Today is the 13th. Today is the 13th of March. It's 13th of March.
Yeah.
Finally, Hudson.
Oh, you meant that?
Hudson.
Like Thursday.
Yeah. Well, Hudson Thames he's come out of hiding. He was sequestered.
I think he was allowed to speak.
He was soul searching. You know what? He was. His publicist was like, fine, just say something. But get it right. Now, to be fair, Hudson Thames is not exactly a household name. He's not a big famous guy.
Or a name anyone knows, actually.
Yeah, he's not a big famous dude that everyone's just like, you got to explain yourself. But, he's on Instagram, so I suppose he got added enough. He finally was just like, fine. So he went on Straw Hat Goofy, which I follow him, but I don't really look at his content. But I know who he is. He had a sit down with Hudson Thames, and they talked about the show and everything like that. And of course, this part came up. Now, to be fair to Straw Hat Goofy, I'm gonna give him this. First of all, he's like, we're friends, and when you said this stuff about wokeness, it really kind of hurt me because as a black content creator that talks about this stuff, I get that shit thrown at me all the time, right? And I was like, what do you mean, right? So, and I get that when you know somebody, right, and they say some shit, you're just like, what the fuck? Who are you, right? What do you mean? No context, no, and so he sat and talked about it. Now, apparently, this is a part of a larger video that, again, I haven't watched. I watched a little bit that I linked that I saw on Threads, and kind of looked at and listened. And before I give my thoughts about this, about his attempt to add context to what he said, I do want to hear what you have to say. How do you feel about his contextualizing his comments?
I think that, first of all, like I said on Discord, I can or on Threads, I don't know. I can't believe that after so much time, his PR people didn't come up with anything better.
He doesn't have
seriously.
PR people. I'm betting.
Well, yeah, but Disney, sorry, I don't know, whoever is responsible for that. Please just help the dude out. He talked himself into stupid. That happens sometimes to people who are not bad people, but in his case, I don't know. But okay, help him talk himself out of it. Come up with some good explanation with an apology or something. Just don't do this. This is not doubling down, but it's just, any other explanation would have been better. Like I said, that like I got possessed by a Confederate soldier ghost, or it wasn't me. I was drunk. I don't know. The journalist lied. I mean, we all believe that because that happens. But just anything, and then maybe like do something to show that you're not the person that we think you are. Be better. Talk about stuff. And he said that like diversity and inclusion is a given in the show, but it's not. And we know it's not. And like any comic book fan knows that it's not. It should be, but it's not.
Right.
So no, that is not a good excuse. Yeah. Come up with something better. Maybe it will take you like a year. Well, I'm sorry that you're not that great with words. For a voice actor, that's probably not the best.
I listened to it, so I'm kind of split in the middle on this. One, and giving people the benefit of the doubt is hard sometimes. My benefit of the doubt on this is essentially comes down to who are you listening to and where are you getting these, where are you getting these talking points? Because what a lot of it is. Like, I feel like there's some sincerity there where he's just like, no, because he said something about diversity that's not been forced. That's straight off of some fucking nerdrotic bullshit, right? Forced, but I also look at it as a lot of, younger white dudes are kind of they kind of attached to this idea that diversity being forced is a thing. And so I'm just like, you can hear that enough, and eventually you just it's just a thing. Like here in America, liberal is a dirty word to certain people.
Oh yeah. That happened in Russia years ago, and when I noticed that, that kind of was the first red flag for me when I noticed that liberal is used as a
it's a dirty word only because there's been a long campaign to make it a dirty word. So if there's been a long campaign in certain pundit circles, certain areas of the internet to make diversity a bad word, and they do it by saying forced diversity, and they never explain it. It's just that, so eventually if you hear enough of that shit, it just becomes part of your lexicon. So that is the absolute benefit of that I'm gonna give Hudson Thames. He seems sincere in saying, like, look, I read the scripts, this was some good shit. It was, as he said, the diversity was baked into it. It didn't seem weird or like they were just throwing somebody in there and just say. And we know that there are literally tokenized characters in media where they really are just there just to be that one black dude or that one gay person. So we know that that's true. So he seems sincere in what he's saying, that, hey, this was actually a special project. I believed in what they were talking about. The scripts were great and everything like that. And he's like, I just said it wrong. On the other hand, you can believe all of that stuff too and still have this kind of really stupid idea about what's real diversity and what isn't. Because it's interesting to me that the people telling us what real diversity is are white guys. You ever notice that? The only people know about real, quote, real diversity or forced diversity are always white guys, straight white guys telling us about what's real diversity. And I'm like, when the fuck did you become the arbiter of any of that stuff? Like, because if y'all are the arbiters of it, y'all been shitty at it for the vast majority of Hollywood. And so maybe you shouldn't be the last word on what's real diversity. Because you guys have an awful lot of you have an awful lot of time being the ones that are the main characters. So I'm glad he said something. Wish he had said it 6 weeks ago when this fucking show came out. And when it was clear immediately that the Collider interview was like, people were like, what the fuck is this shit? Right?
Mm.
That was the time to say this stuff was then, right? Not 6 weeks later.
Technically, season 2 is still coming out, and he's probably not fired. So
He's not fired, no.
yeah, they're trying to do damage control, but you know what? I think that I have some good advice for him. What he should have said. He should have said that I really feel bad about it, and that I was stupid enough to like watch some particular segment of YouTube or something, and I don't actually know what woke means. I just say that. That would be it. But I educated myself and I understood, and I changed. I want to like say differently what I was trying to say. What I was meaning to say is that it wasn't like, let's say, nobody sacrificed the story to like achieve to deliver some message or something like that.
You're right.
Well, that's for him to figure out. I can't make everything up for him.
Well,
He's paying me. He should be paying me for that.
I'll at least say this. It is
Because like sorry that I interrupt you, but I think that it's okay to seem like you don't know something. It's okay to accept that you don't know something, and it's okay to accept that sometimes you could be wrong and you could be like misled by the people you thought were telling you something real.
right.
It should be okay to admit, because if we make it not okay to admit, then it would make people double down,
Right.
and we don't want that.
Yeah, which in part is why I'm look. This wasn't really an apology. This was a clarification. And you know, I'm
be an apology.
I mostly understand where he's coming from. I think you were right. He ought to be like, you know what? I used the wrong word there. Or I don't understand that word the way I think I understand it. Your understanding of it is different than mine. So maybe I need to like just not use that until we're all on the same page on what's being said. Because to me, it's clear to me that he's just like, no, this was a great show, and I like the diversity and like the the castings and all that. He's like, it's clear to me that he's not so far down that pipeline that he's unreachable. And also he's got real people in real life that are just like, hey, what's up, right? So I'm not going to tar and feather him. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He seems like an uninformed guy. He seems like a misinformed guy. And he seems like he seems like
I think that I should still shame him for not accepting that.
Yeah. Well,
just say so. Just say so, because that is understandable. That is relatable. That happens to people.
Yeah, and
I don't know all the words.
I think
sometimes I'll say something and like wouldn't know the meaning of it.
Yeah. Well, I think the question is he the sort of person where if you give him shit about being wrong, he's gonna head right, or if he's gonna be the sort of person that's just like, hey, I'm listening. Let me be better than this. Like, I get it. We're not in the same place as far as our understanding goes, but let's see if we can get there. If he's that sort of person, we should give him the opportunity to be that person and to learn and grow. If he's the other kind of person, let's give him the business. So far, I have not seen evidence that he's likely to go down that, that right wing, culture warrior pipeline. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he's on the precipice. He could be there, and it's not our responsibility to pull him back. But we shouldn't be pushing him either. And I think just helping him learn and grow is the thing. So, I'm being very even-handed here. Normally I'd be like, fuck that guy, but I just didn't see enough. I didn't see enough to say fuck that guy. I just didn't. So I think
that it's good that he has people who can take care of that. Like, come get your boy.
And just like Straw Hat Goofy, shout out. Like, I mean, you're not gonna see this, but like, shout out and like keep on trying to get your friend on point. Like, you're smart. He's a smart guy. Straw Hat Goofy's he's a pretty on point guy as far as this sort of thing is concerned. I would like to see him do a little more work to get his friend right. Call him out. We got to call these people out when they're going wrong. So anyway, that's our thoughts on that. So one last thing, our last thing. We're running long. Surprise! We love to talk. We're gonna talk about episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again. A little review, but a lot of commentary here. A move, which by the way, y'all see IGN being like, "Oh, it's underwhelming." I'm like, you know what?
I don't know if you saw that, but like while I just finished the episode and I was like, they're gonna like all those people who don't understand Daredevil for shit, they're gonna come out of the woods saying that he's not wearing a costume. He's not wearing his horns or whatever. This is the whole, and those are the same people who complained that She-Hulk wasn't written by like legal experts, so it wasn't a courtroom drama. And now they're gonna it was a superhero show, yeah.
Right.
And now they're gonna complain that this is a courtroom drama and not a superhero show. Like, what the hell do you want? Seems to me like you don't want nothing.
To complain. They want to complain. That's the
exactly.
Which like
the episode was brilliant.
In America, there's and I'm sure across the world, because you can see this on like British shows, legal dramas, police procedurals. So they're a thing. Sing a whole episode, a whole episode dedicated to the process of trying to clear some we know for sure is innocent, right? This isn't a speculative. This isn't a he says. No, we know for sure he's innocent, and we know for sure that some corrupt cops are doing some corrupt cop shit. So the question is, and it had me tense and wondering while I watched the episode, is there going to be a miscarriage of justice, right? And it had me wondering, like, what is Wilson Fisk going to make of this? Because he's an opportunist, right? He's going to take a situation and make it work for himself. And also, he and Matt Murdock are not on the same side, right? So and in the middle of all of this cop killer trial is Hector Ayala, who's a good guy, a vigilante hero who did the right thing and is going to get punished for it, right? And so this is a little too close to home in the real world. And I love that they didn't flinch away from what it's about and kind of have a conversation about why police if they currently exist. I don't know about in Serbia, but I'm going to assume it's close. But in America, you're watching this, you're like, man, that's crazy. Surely cops aren't like that. Yeah, they are. Yes, they are.
I can speak for Serbia, but I can't speak for Russia.
Yeah, they are a gang. They are organized crime. Not all of them. Look, I'm sure your Uncle Joe, that's a police officer, I'm sure he's a straight and narrow guy that rubs elbows with shit. That he rubs elbows and goes to work and clocks in and works with shitty cops that he knows are dirty as fuck. And how hard has your great Uncle Joe, that's a good cop, how hard does he work to get rid of those dudes? When we were watching in the courtroom, this is spoilers, but like it's not a huge spoiler. Half of the damn gallery in that courtroom was police officers in uniform, as a show of they call it a show of support, right? Because they want to get a cop.
But that was actually
intimidation
tactic.
Yeah,
intimidation. Yeah, of course. Because like I kind of wasn't a show. I don't know. Are we good with spoilers?
We can talk spoilers. But I mean, I think let's just say it was an amazing episode with no.
It was a fantastic
with no Daredevil in it. It was a Matt Murdock episode with plenty of tenseness, intrigue.
It was very intense. It was very keeps you on the edge of the
Yeah.
seat, is what I said the
Yeah.
first time, and what a lot of people are saying too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wilson's fist did not get shorted of his time. There's some things going on in the background, but really this was about Matt and what's her name, McDuff. What's her name? His
Kirsten.
Yeah, McDuffie. She as
Kirsten McDuffie.
yeah, Kirsten McDuffie as his partner, his investigator, and how they try to get
I think
a guy off.
it's
I don't remember the guy's
not
name.
exactly about that.
But it's
I mean, it's not just about that. It's more about an episode about Matt Murdock.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
because everything that happens in that courtroom, everything that happens leading up to that, it's all the things that he has to process for himself, that the things that affect him, that directly affect him, that
Right.
he is not ready to confront. He's denying them.
Right.
Like he's
he's having to essentially defend someone who's just like him, and and he believes them and everything. This is Matt Murdock that believes in the justice system, except when he doesn't, right? And he's like
he has it comes and goes.
Yeah, he
believes
like,
it 1 week, he doesn't believe it.
But he's committed. He's committed to not being Daredevil to make this right.
Yeah.
And he shows his ability as a lawyer in this one. But also in the span of basically this whole episode is also about Hector and who he is as a person. And there's some cultural specificity that is so top notch, like to the point where if you're on social media, a lot of Puerto Rican people are just happy just to see themselves. They see him as themselves, right? And to hear him talk about where he's from and everything like that. And also to talk about what it's like to be a good person and get punished for it versus being a bad person and getting rewarded for it, which is, and again, there's a lot of commentary about cops. So I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. Fuck IGN. So let's talk spoilers. There's a bunch of stuff going on in this. I was tense as hell. I was just like that motherfucking informant. Like I get it.
Yeah, I knew he was not gonna talk the moment that he walked into that room, because those cops were there for him.
Yeah. Yep.
That's like 100%. For him and for the even if he wanted to do the right thing, I wouldn't expect him to, because he would walk out of that courtroom, and what's gonna happen to him?
Exactly.
It's not just an informant. They own him as is.
Yeah.
And after that, there should be some kind of witness protection or something for this thing.
How do you protect witnesses?
That's on Matt. I think that's on Matt for not organizing that.
Yeah. Well,
everyone keeps saying that he's a brilliant lawyer. I think he's a lousy lawyer. Look at that project. Like nothing went as planned. Nothing. You can't control your witnesses. You can't protect your witnesses. Holy crap, Matt. Get your shit together.
The problem is that witness protection works when the person that they're being protected from isn't a police officer. When they're this whole episode, I've said this, and like people will be like, why? How can you be like, there's no such thing as a good cop? Well, as I was saying before, when you cease to be a good cop when you tolerate the existence of bad cops. You cease to be like, if you're like, well, I'm not a Nazi. When you tolerate Nazis, you're basically a Nazi. You can't.
Oh, why not?
So if you tolerate
the Hitler's next door, a nice couple.
Yeah, there's no such thing. Good cops don't tolerate bad cops, and so I get it. You want to work, but like you tolerate bad cops, you're not a good cop. So you have all of these police officers. You have all these police officers that are there, and this is a whole machine, as they said. The investigator said there's a machine, and somebody's gonna pay for this. Right? No matter what, a cop's dead, someone's going to pay for this. Someone's going to go to, where they're going to die, or they're going to go to prison forever and get fucked up in prison forever. And so they were intent on this guy going, even though it's based on a lie, right? Based on an entire lie. Now, the thing about this is that, and this is real. None of this is fake. This is all real shit. Police officers in America are believed implicitly. It is what if a cop says something happened, you have to prove that they lied. They don't have to prove that they're telling the truth. You have to prove that they lied, because otherwise they're considered trustworthy, right? Even though we've had all the evidence in the world that they lie. In fact, it's legal for them to lie. They can legally, if they arrest you and they interrogate you, they can lie to you about everything to get you to confess. It is legal, right? They are also, they're
I mean, they can't beat you, but they would.
They can beat you. They just can't get, like, they do it in a way that like, people have been roughed up. They are immune. They're immune from prosecution. That's called qualified immunity. In America, qualified immunity means if a police officer violates your civil rights, right, for whatever they do, they violate your civil rights. Let's say they beat the shit out of you to try to force a confession. They will not be prosecuted for it. They won't. If they're pursuing a suspect, they're in a high-speed chase and they run you over, they will not be prosecuted for you. What will happen is you'll sue the city and the city will pay you, but that person will not go because they were they were doing their job, right? They run you over, right? So qualified immunity exists, right? People believe cops, juries and judges and what they believe cops first. So they don't have to prove anything about themselves. So you have a he said, she said, except in this case, he said is here, you said is right here, and you have to prove your innocence. In America, innocent to proven guilty. Bullshit. It's not true. So
it's guilty if the cop says
no. And also, Hector is brown. And he's Spanish, he's Puerto Rican. And they want blood. In America, you know, this whole, like, are cops really? Yeah, cops are really like that. If you shoot a cop, if you run over a cop, if any of that stuff happens, you better hope you make it. You better hope you make it to the end of the trial. And God forbid you're found not guilty, because you can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it wasn't you. You weren't even there. And they'll still be like, nope, he's guilty. And nothing you say can change my mind. And now you got to live in the city where these cops know who you are, know where you live, and hate you because of that, right? Which is why I was like, Hector, why the hell didn't you leave?
Pack your shit and move right away.
Yeah. Why didn't you leave?
Pack your shit.
I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Why the hell didn't you leave?
But also wasn't a shock. The conclusion to this whole story wasn't a shock. Of course, if you have already read this comics where that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to be that way. I thought it would be public, but I think that it's very fitting that it's not.
Yeah.
It's very fitting that it's not public. And yeah, it's and like why would you put on that costume?
Matt said
also a good question.
Yeah. Matt said don't. And I think this is just I think this is foreshadowing. I think it's just foreshadowing what we're going to see later on when Matt comes in.
But we know that he can't not do that because of the kind of person he is. And I think I get that. I think that, yeah, there are people who can't just can't stand injustice.
Right.
It's just against nature, and they will fight it. That's great. But I think that it's also a thing that happened in the comics because Matt keeps hearing things, and it happened, I think, in the first episode or in the second one. He keeps hearing things. Every time somebody's calling for help, he hears that.
Yeah.
And he has to ignore how long is he gonna pretend that? Yeah, how long is he gonna pretend that it's not happening?
Yeah, it's a Superman thing, definitely. I'd also I want to draw, because this, again, oh no, he's not in a suit. This is not a compelling, bitch, get out of here. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this entire story, this trial could not have happened in the real world. It just couldn't have. This wouldn't have even been a trial. He'd been buried under the fucking jail. Why? Because you saw why he got off, right? Why did he get off? Because he's a mass vigilante that people knew about. That even cops were like, "Hey, he's a hero," right? So, if not for the MCU, Hector Ayala is in prison for the rest of his life, or on death row. He's in New York, so he'd have been in prison for the rest of his life, right? That's the only reason why. If there were no such thing as mass vigilantes, he would not have been found not guilty. Which it's a unique story to tell, but it also is an indictment of our justice system, or as I like to say, our no justice system. It gets it right accidentally a lot. But when it comes to actually, who watches The Watchmen? Nobody watches The Watchmen. The Watchmen watch themselves. And mostly they just like, under the rug, right? Or they'll serve up one guy here. Like Derek Chauvin is in prison for the rest of his life now because of the whole, kneeling on the guy's neck, right? But his other officers, they're not in jail for the rest of their lives. They aided and abetted this motherfucker, and that's why like this whole episode really hit me, because it faced police, the blue wall of silence, so to speak, and the way that the system shields, police from the consequences of action or for being bad, and really exposes in a dramatic way that police they're not to be trusted until they get their shit until they hold themselves to a higher standard. How do we trust them? Because they'll get into gear to fuck up a person's life because one of them died, but they don't have that energy for one of us. They don't got that energy, and if you're poor and black and live in the projects, oh, they could give a fuck about you dying. You're just animals killing each other. They don't have that energy until one of them dies, and now suddenly justice must be served. So like this was all for me. Again, fuck IGN. If y'all can't understand that, then this shit ain't for you, I guess.
It's also terrible that people stopped understanding that a TV show it consists of several episodes. It's a whole arc. It's one episode.
Yeah.
It's a part of the story. If you can't beat that long and just listen, I don't know what you're doing. Just go back to school or something. But I mean, seriously, just learn to process information, to listen. It's not a 60s comic book. Every issue doesn't need to have a splash page with a fight.
Mm-hmm.
We outgrew that, and I don't know.
If this was an episode, if this was an episode of L.A. Law and Order, any other police procedural, this would have been a compelling ass episode of the show, right? It'd have been super compelling, and yet they want to complain. Like, get out of here.
It's also funny because there is I don't know if that's gonna be in the show, but you remember that Matt argued that superheroes should be represented. Should be like, if they go to court, they should be in court as superheroes without uncovering their identity. And it's shady thing to do, because he's done it himself. He's done it himself several times when he was trying to prove that he's not Daredevil in court. Again, he wasn't in the costume for the whole books at a time, and there was like Iron Fist and Spider-Man dressed up like him and Cage.
Yeah.
This is so nasty. He should have been disbarred. He was disbarred at some point for that, but then he covered back his identity, and that all went away.
Yeah, Matt just doing whatever he wants. That's what I'm saying. he just do whatever he wants.
He's like, I'm a really good lawyer. No, you're not. You couldn't even defend yourself without lying. But the point is, like, I love that scene at the end where he said that sometimes the system works and it doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think one thing before, and the last thing is the whole Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
the Punisher cops. I love that this is a thing. I can't wait. They're gonna deal with it, but I can't wait to see the Punisher cops. With what does Punisher actually think about them? I hope they draw from the comics what he thinks about them. But also, I do love the real world kind of parallels. They're drawing from the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of cops and their little decals and shit like that. Fuck those guys. But second of all, it's also goes back to the fact that there are cops can be gangs. Like in Los Angeles in particular, they say for sure the Los Angeles County sheriffs have quote gangs of sheriffs where it's just a bunch of them and they fucking terrorize people because they can, right? And which is again I say, and they know this is a known thing, right? Which is again I say there aren't any good cops as long as there are bad cops that are tolerated. Their existence is tolerated, and so them
That's
showing
true.
like this Punisher gang is like very interesting to me, and I hope that they don't shy away from indicting law enforcement for allowing these people to, they got all this power they're corrupting. We wouldn't tolerate Superman acting like this. Why the fuck are we why are we tolerating police acting like this? They are I'm not saying they're Superman, but given the wide amount of power they have, we need to be holding them to that standard. And the fact that they fight against being held to that standard is enough to tell me these people who are currently police don't need to be police. Defund them. Get them out.
Yeah.
And if you can't approach police work like Superman approaches superhero work, you ain't fit to be a cop because you're not protecting and serving anybody except yourself. Anyway, politics and superhero stuff.
Well,
I cannot wait to see the way they wrap this up. It's gonna be very interesting. So good episode, and we'll talk about the next episode next week. So anyway, that's all of our review and all of our news and everything for this week. What did you guys think about what we had to say? And hopefully it's something good. Don't be getting down there trolling. I don't play with that. But if you do want to let us know what you're thinking about, get down to the comment section. Leave your thoughts there. Of course, you can always hit us up. supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram, and threads super_not_funny show on TikTok. And while you're doing that, do me a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and all of the other content that we put out. And as usual, I could not do this on my own. I needed Polly to come in and just, give us all the nerd knowledge and insight as usual. And also a little sprinkling of that Reed Richards hate. It goes a long way, I think it keeps her energized, and we're going to get a little bit of that energy here too. So Polly, where can they reach you on social media?
Well, as always on Threads, it's _mixed. It's the same on Instagram and on Tumblr.
Tumblr, that's a thing that people use that I don't. But I did see you put out
Well, I do write long reads. Yeah, I'm planning on doing like my own page where I put them.
I saw you did a Moon Knight review. I need to go read that.
Oh yeah.
Because you read the part, like I have Essential Moon Knight at volumes 1 and 2, which there. So I didn't get the benefit of the color comics, but I have read through them before. They're pretty great. So I do want to hear what you have to say. Clearly, you like Moon Knight more than Reed Richards, so that's good.
I like garbage more than I like Reed Richards.
You like Forbush Man more than you like Reed Richards, which is
I like Steelman more. I do love Doctor Doom though.
Yes,
everybody loves
him. When he really shows up, and not just there with the bot, with a robot. So all right, well, thanks everyone for joining us. This has been episode 174 of the Supercast. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. Come back next week. We're going to talk about Daredevil Born Again episode 4 and all of the other comic book news. So until then, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by my good friend Polly. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.